After a divorce, it's natural to feel overwhelmed by a mix of emotions: grief, anger, confusion, maybe even relief. But one of the worst things you can do is isolate yourself completely. Shutting out friends, family, and support networks might feel like self-preservation, but it often leads to deeper loneliness and delayed healing. It's tempting to retreat into silence or convince yourself you must handle it alone, but recovery thrives in connection. Talking to others, even just one trusted person, can provide not only comfort but also perspective. Don't confuse solitude with strength. Leaning on others doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. Friends and loved ones want to support you, and you'll need that support in more ways than you might expect. Rebuilding life after divorce is about rediscovering yourself, and you can't do that completely alone. Give people a chance to show up for you. Don't shut the door. Another common but harmful mistake is jumping straight into another serious relationship. The desire to fill the void, avoid loneliness, or prove you're still lovable can cloud your judgment. You might convince yourself that love is the cure, but often that's just avoidance dressed up as romance. Relationships formed too soon after divorce often come with unresolved emotional baggage and unrealistic expectations. Give yourself the time to heal, reflect, and grow on your own. Learn who you are outside of a relationship. Reconnect with your values, your passions, and your personal goals. If you don't take the time to rebuild your self-worth independently, you risk repeating old patterns in new relationships. You're not defined by your past relationship, and a new partner shouldn't be your solution. Focus on self-renewal first and let love find you when you're whole again, not when you're trying to fill a gap left by someone else. Avoid bad-mouthing your ex, especially in front of your children, friends, or mutual acquaintances. No matter how justified your anger might feel, turning bitterness into public condemnation damages your credibility and poisons your environment. Words spoken in rage often linger and hurt more people than intended. If you have kids, remember they're watching, listening, and absorbing every comment. Speaking ill of your ex teaches them to resent, mistrust, or internalize conflict in relationships. Even outside of parenthood, constantly venting or blaming your ex makes you appear stuck and emotionally dependent on the past. Instead of spending energy criticizing, invest it in creating your future. Practice discretion and maturity. Talk to a therapist, not a social media audience. Releasing anger in private, healthy spaces helps you move forward with dignity. You don't have to pretend everything was okay, but you also don't need to air every grievance to the world. Don't use your children as messengers, leverage, or emotional support in the aftermath of divorce. Children, regardless of their age, are not emotionally equipped to handle adult conflict. Asking them to carry messages between parents puts them in the middle of a conflict they didn't choose. They should never feel like they have to take sides or mediate tension. It's your job as a parent to protect their emotional space, not burden it further. Kids can sense resentment and hostility, even if it's unspoken. Be mindful of your tone, your body language, and your words. Allow your children to love both parents freely without fear of judgment or guilt. If you need to communicate something to your ex, do it directly and respectfully. Don't weaponize your child. Divorce is a wound, but it doesn't have to become a generational scar. Shield your children with stability, empathy, and unconditional love. Never ignore your financial reality. Divorce can be financially destabilizing, and pretending everything is fine won't make money problems disappear. Don't avoid reviewing your finances because it feels too painful or overwhelming. Instead, face it head-on. Rebuild a budget, reassess your assets, and get professional advice if needed. If you were used to shared finances, living on a single income might feel like a shock, but clarity is power. Avoid impulsive purchases meant to retreat yourself out of pain. Emotional spending might provide temporary relief, but often leads to long-term stress. On the flip side, don't completely deprive yourself either. Find a healthy middle ground. Get serious about saving, securing housing, managing debts, and planning for your future. Your financial independence is a huge part of your post-divorce freedom. Empower yourself by making informed decisions. The sooner you get a handle on your finances, the smoother your path to true independence will be. Do not stalk your ex on social media. Obsessing over their new life, new partner, or even what they're eating for breakfast is a fast way to sabotage your healing. Social media presents a curated version of reality, often highlighting only the happiest moments. Comparing your behind-the-scenes pain to their filtered highlights can distort your perspective and prolong heartache. If seeing their posts triggers anxiety, sadness, or anger, give yourself permission to unfollow, mute, or block them entirely. That's not petty, it's self-care. You don't need to know what they're doing every minute of the day. Focusing on their life prevents you from investing in your own. Your journey isn't about keeping up with or outdoing your ex. It's about rediscovering your joy. Protect your mental peace by curating your digital world. Spend more time creating memories than consuming theirs. Remember, moving on starts with looking forward, not backward through a screen. Never suppress your emotions in an attempt to appear strong. Bottling up pain doesn't make it disappear. It buries it deeper, where it festers into resentment, depression, or chronic stress. Allow yourself to grieve, cry, scream, or feel whatever comes up. Divorce is a major life event, and it deserves emotional processing. You don't need to be cheerful every day to prove you're doing okay. Suppressed emotions find other ways to come out, often through irritability, fatigue, or even physical illness. It's healthier to face your feelings than to fake your stability. Seek therapy or join a support group if you need help navigating the emotional roller coaster. You're allowed to be broken for a while. Healing isn't linear, and there's no set timeline. Embracing your emotions, not denying them, is where the real strength lies. Emotional honesty is the first step toward emotional freedom. Feel it all, then learn to let it go. Avoid clinging to what it could have been. Regret and fantasy are seductive distractions from reality. You might catch yourself reimagining how things could have gone differently if only you'd said this, done that, or waited longer. But living in the what-ifs keeps you tethered to a version of the past that no longer exists. Acceptance doesn't mean the divorce was easy or painless. It means acknowledging that it happened and choosing to move forward. Holding on to dreams of reconciliation or a different outcome prevents you from embracing new possibilities. Every time you replay old scenarios, you delay your healing. Letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains of the past. Ground yourself in the present. Ask yourself what's next, not what went wrong. Your future won't build itself if you're still mentally living in yesterday. Trade fantasy for reality. It's the only path to real peace. Never make your entire identity revolve around being divorced. You are not your marital status. Defining yourself solely as someone who was left, betrayed, or abandoned gives your past too much power over your present. Yes, it's a part of your story, but it's not the whole book. Life after divorce can open doors to rediscovery, growth, and freedom. Lean into your interests, your goals, your passions. Rebuild yourself with intention, not resentment. The moment you start seeing yourself as more than a victim of divorce, you begin to reclaim your narrative. Speak kindly to yourself. You're not damaged goods. You're a work in progress, just like everyone else. Let your identity be shaped by who you're becoming, not what you've been through. Don't let bitterness or cynicism harden your heart. Divorce is an event, not a definition. You are still whole, still worthy, and absolutely capable of a beautiful new beginning. Don't neglect your physical health during this emotional upheaval. It's easy to fall into patterns of stress eating, insomnia, or lethargy when dealing with emotional pain. But your body and mind are deeply connected. Treating your body well supports your emotional resilience. Eat nourishing foods, get regular exercise, and aim for consistent sleep, even if it feels difficult. Movement, even just a daily walk, can release endorphins that improve mood and reduce stress. Avoid excessive alcohol or substance use to numb pain. It's a short-term fix with long-term consequences. Your health is your foundation. When everything else feels chaotic, taking care of your body is an act of stability. Prioritize self-care not as a luxury, but as a necessity. It sends a powerful message to yourself: I am still valuable. The healthier you feel, the more energy and clarity you'll have to rebuild your life with purpose and strength. Don't keep revisiting your old texts, photos, or emails. Nostalgia is a tricky beast. It makes you remember the highlights while blurring the pain. Constantly revisiting the digital remnants of your past relationship prevents emotional closure. Those late-night scrolls through happy pictures are not harmless. They reopen wounds that need to heal. You don't have to delete everything, but you should create distance. Archive the memories, box up the physical mementos if needed, give yourself permission to pause the past. Sentimentality isn't a crime, but obsession is a trap. Honor the good times, learn from the bad, and then let the rest rest. You're not erasing your history, you're choosing not to be haunted by it. You deserve mental space to dream of the future, not constant reminders of what once was. Break the digital chain, clean your emotional house so you have room to breathe, grow, and eventually love again. Never assume healing will be linear or fast. You may have good days followed by unexpected breakdowns, and that's okay. Progress doesn't look like a straight line, it looks like falling, rising, pausing, and trying again. Don't compare your timeline to someone else's or pressure yourself to be over it by a certain date. Grief has no schedule. Some days you'll feel empowered and free. Other days, small memories will knock the wind out of you. Give yourself grace. Celebrate tiny wins, getting out of bed, smiling at a stranger, or finding joy in a hobby again. Healing is 1,000 little steps forward, not one giant leap. Stay present with the process, even when it's uncomfortable. You're rebuilding a new life, and that takes time. But every moment you choose peace over pain, you're moving forward. Trust the journey. Even on your hardest day, you are not going backward.